since the late 80s, there's been a almost kind of like a small psychological field of forgiveness where
Mm.
they do forgiveness research, start at the University of Wisconsin. And there's been a real kind of, I don't know if it's a resurgence, but there's been a real spread in the popularity of using forgiveness as a, not just a religious thing, but as a mental health
Yeah.
practice. And I just personally, I think the course is ahead of the game. I think that what's so hard for us about forgiving is it doesn't seem to make sense. Why would I let this go if they really did me wrong? And the course has this huge, sophisticated answer to that, where you just don't understand how reality really is. If you saw that, then your anger wouldn't really make sense, even in the face of what you witnessed happening.
It's one of those things where you hear it and you think, that doesn't make any sense. That would be so hard. But you spend enough time swallowed up by your grievance and you realize that's actually the thing that's hard. The
Right.
thing that's hard is going through life so angry and so full of hate. That's what's hard. And so, if we could get to a place where forgiveness is a value, like no matter what's happened, we're going to try and find that place of forgiveness, then we're well on our way to the kind of healing we've been talking about in this conversation. But until and unless we hold forgiveness as a value, versus the grievance as a value, then we won't get there. Then we'll just be back in eye for an eye territory.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to be there.
No,
We are there.
we wouldn't want to be, but yes. So it's a practice and it's something we value.
And when
Yeah.
you value it, you practice it,
Yeah.
right? If you, I mean, the course is full of all kinds of practices that get us to this place where we can change our perception from fear to love. And unless you hold the value of you want to get there, you're not going to do the practice. And so it starts with the what we call the proverbial better way moment, where you say, there must be a better way than all this hate. There must be a better way than all this contention and friction and violence. And until and unless we get to the place where we say, look, we've got to change, then we'll start to do the practice.
And how do you two continue on in this work all these years? What is your ability to overcome the hurdles and uh, disappointments and the way to reach out to the world with your message?
Well, I mean, we probably both would want to speak to that because this is, every day, all day for us. I think a few things. One is this is what we love doing. Another thing is that we feel uh, that the course has an enormous amount to give the world. It's very small in its footprint right now, but it's because it's so different. And I think that sometimes those things that start small and are very different, they have the most to give the world. And also, we just carry a very deep conviction that we've been personally called, that there's something that we carry that we're meant to carry. That if we just don't do it, we don't know who will step up to do it. So yeah, it's every day. It's wondering how we can expand the mission and the influence, and it's not always easy, but it's the only thing we want to do.
So that helps.
Yeah.
It's everything. Yeah. Robert and I have very of a lot of shorthand, and one of our shorthand comments is, "This is Jesus." We really believe in the comment that the quote that you read rather earlier, where Jesus says, "If you want to be like me, you can. If you are not ready, I'll wait." This is world healing stuff, and if we don't share it, who will? And part of our work in sharing it is to try and find others who will. But the Course is a very niche spiritual path right now, and it doesn't have the legitimacy yet of being one of those great spiritual traditions, but it can be. And we just feel very internally driven and called to do this work every day. And so it's never a question for either Robert or I of how do you find the motivation. It's every single day we just wake up and know that this is what we're supposed to do. And we're just lucky enough to have found each other, because working towards a purpose is fun when you have a partner, more fun when you have a partner.
It's way more fun. Yeah.
Yeah, way more fun, and you just get farther.
That's true.
Yeah. Because we
We always
bring
say,
very different things
yeah,
and they mesh.
together we can do a lot more than we were able to do apart.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's amazing. Is there any last word that you would like to say about the Course or forgiveness or anything before we
You're
part?
good at last words, Emily. What do you think?
Well, the only thing that I would say is just how moved I am by the fact that 30 years ago, Robert wrote you a letter that remains in your heart and your mind to this day. And that is an example of the power of love and the power of showing up for each other. And that's all this life is really about. It doesn't matter what job you go to every day. At the end of the day, we all have the same career. And it's showing up for each other with these kinds of expressions of love. And so it's an honor for me to be part of a small part of the friendship that's here. And so I may it continue, and may we continue to keep showing up for each other in big and small ways.
That was the best way to end I could ever think of. Thank you so much, Emily. That was amazing. She was the right person for the job.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Robert and Emily Perry. I hope to see you in person real soon.
That would be
Definitely.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and keep up the work, keep up the mission. It's working. It's
We're
working.
getting
Always.
there.
All right. Bye from America Lost and Found.
Okay.